Welcome back to the Shared Practices podcast. Today I have with me Paul Lowry from Dental Menu. He is the co-founder. Welcome, Paul.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on because this has been a hot topic on a lot of my coaching calls, honestly, is membership plans. What do we do with them? What are they? Do we need them? And honestly, from my perspective, I remember being a 21-year-old working at my first dental practice and pulling out a big old binder and trying to enroll patients into our dental membership kind of VIP program. And I think it's really come a long way since then. There's a lot of better options for offices to start using to enroll patients. So tell us about Dental Menu, how it came to be, and kind of the main need that you guys are meeting in the dental industry right now.
Yeah, for sure. And a couple of things. I got into this like everybody. Everybody has a dental story, how they kind of got sucked into dental. So I was doing postcard marketing for a lot of businesses, started doing postcards for dentists. This was 2008 to about 2016, 17. And so we got more and more into dental postcards and generating new patients and doing drip campaigns and retention and all this. But really, when you first get into dental, you hear a lot of people complain about dental insurance. And when you're new, you're like, why? And so you find out the reasons why. And so, they wanted more patients without dental insurance. And so the biggest thing is looking at conversion retention rates on those patients coming in. They were terrible with cash pay, and they were a lot better with insurance patients, to the tune of 12% of the cash pay patients that we looked at within a 5-year period were still active. So they were losing basically 9 out of 10. So, they would come to us and say, hey, I want to pay for marketing. I'm going to give you $4,000. I want you to drive in cash pay patients. And then 5 years later, it's like you lost 9 out of 10 of those, and they were retaining about 6 to 7 out of 10 on the insurance side. And so just from all right, doctor, I know you're emotional about the insurance and the reimbursements, but looking long term, it seemed like the insurance patients were coming in and sticking at a lot higher rate. And a lot of these offices had their own in-house membership plan. So when we started diving into those, we're like, well, if you have a VIP program, a membership plan, whatever you want to call it, but you're still only retaining 1 out of 10 patients, something's broken. Why are insurances, which insurance is a prepaid benefit? Dental insurance is not insurance. It's not like health insurance. You have a big problem. It's not like it's going to pay $10,000 for a full mouth restoration because you didn't clean your teeth. It's a prepaid benefit plan. It's a membership plan, in my opinion, because it doesn't pay for much anyways. So why are other insurance companies' membership plans retaining 64% of patients over a 5-year period, and in-office do-it-yourself plans are retaining 12%? That was what the numbers were. And so that's kind of how Dental Menu is born, is why can't we do something at least as good, if not better, than insurance companies? And so that's what we really set out to do.
Well, and I really do view having a membership plan as a retention strategy above everything else. You are inviting patients to be members of your practice, and you really want to roll out the red carpet to all of those uninsured adults in the country. And we have so many, right? 1099 workers and so many people that are independent or just don't have the insurance offered through their employer. So it's really important for most practices. I don't think it's one size fits all. I think there's some practices where maybe it doesn't make sense. But I would say for majority of the clients that I work with, they are offering something similar to this for the retention strategy.
Yeah.
You and I met previously, and I really liked the way you presented the strategy of kind of making this feel like a subscription that auto renews the same way we just kind of turn on our Netflix and let it go. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Because I think that's eye-opening.
Yeah, sure. So like most offices, these aren't new. So years ago when we were starting to do this, they seem to be a little bit more new. Most people, I'm assuming, that are listening to this have at least heard of it. Most, over 50% of the people that buy our software already have a plan that they're running themselves. And so if you look at plans, when we look at them and they're being ran themselves, most people are running what I call more of a discount plan or a Groupon. So it's usually 2 cleanings, 2 exams, set of x-rays, whatever, 15, 20% off for $500 or whatever the charge is. Even in the practice management software, the way they're being managed is, did the patient get their first cleaning or did they get their second cleaning, and then those are written off as free? it's managed in your practice management software as a coupon Groupon. Hey, Caitlin bought 2 cleanings. Did she use both of them up? And if so, does she need to now buy another 2 cleanings, 2 exams, and X-rays for $400 or $500? So what happens is patient comes in, they have a treatment case of $4,000. They buy the discount plan to get the 20% off. They get the freebies, but a lot of times they don't get they don't renew day 366. There's a lapse when we see it. There's a lapse of 2, 6, 8, 12 months. And when we go to talk to the 21-year-old office manager with the binder and we say, hey, Caitlin, how is it going with the membership plan? How are the renewals going? Oh, it's great. Everybody renews. Well, it's like, well, no, because they're already back in the place of business and they're going to buy whatever is the best
Right.
deal, which happens to be that. So I can't remember if I explained this example, but if you came out to Utah, I'm in Utah, and we're like, hey, let's go to dinner somewhere, and we're scrolling through and we pick a restaurant based on reviews and marketing and referrals, whatever that is. We go into the restaurant. So we're already in there. The marketing work has been done. We're sitting down, and the matron comes to us and says, hey, guys, if you want to join our VIP diner program, you can scan this QR code and you can save $10, or you can get free desserts, or you can get 20% off our entrees. We're going to do a quick math equation in our head. What are we going to order? What is it going to cost? And is this a better deal? And if it's a better deal, we're going to go for the VIP program at the restaurant. And if it's not a better deal, we're not going to go for it. Then you leave and where are you, Caitlin? What state are you
I'm
in?
in Arizona.
Okay. So you're in Arizona. And then August rolls around again. You're like, I want out of Arizona. You come back to Utah. We may or may not go back to that restaurant. If we do go back and the matron comes out and says, hey, do you want our VIP program? We're going to see if it's a better deal. If it is, we're going to buy it again, right? I do a lot of snowboarding. Do you want to buy a season pass, or are you just getting a good deal for a 1 or 2 time bundle of passes? And so if I'm due for my second free cleaning and it's June 4th, and I'm supposed to renew the plan in December because I've used up my year worth. If I call you and I say, hey, you know what? My son's got a soccer game. He won the championship. I'm not coming in today. I need to move my cleaning. And you're like, okay, Paul, when do you need to come in? Well, I'm busy and I'm important like every patient. I'm more important than anybody else out there. I'm sure you don't have patients like that that think their schedule's the most important. So I've got to have a Tuesday morning at 8. You're like, well, Paul, I don't have one of those until August 2nd. That's fine. I don't care. Nothing hurts. I'm good. So then I come get my second free cleaning on your VIP plan August 2nd. Am I going to renew December 4th? Not going to renew December 4th. Why? Well, when you saw me August 2nd, did you pre-appoint me for August 4th? No. Why didn't you pre-appoint me 3 or 4 months later? This is your health thing. I'm going to pre-appoint you 6 months later, right? So then I come in February, and I come in, and what does the front office say to me? Hey, Paul, your VIP program's due for renewal. You need to renew again. And I'm like, okay, well, how much is it? Well, it's $400. Well, what if I just want to pay for the exam cleaning x-rays today? Well, it's $300, but that's just one. You get 2 for them. Basically, buy one, get one free if you do it. Like, okay, I'll buy it again. But if I have an emergency, or my friend tells me there's a better dentist, or I get busy and I don't go for a year or 2, you're going to lose that patient. You're losing out on revenue. A subscription, I'm being a little long-winded. Got to hustle up here, Caitlin, but a subscription like Netflix, I always say, hey, raise your hand if you have Netflix. How many times have they called you and said, do you want to renew our content for another year? They don't do that. They just charge you. Car washes, it's $30 for one wash and $35 for unlimited. Why do they do that? Amazon Prime with the free shipping. Why do they do that? You're paying a subscription to get access to benefits. If you stop paying for that subscription, you can't turn the TV on and you don't have access to content. But we've been on Netflix now for 2, 3, 5, 8 years, and you just pay it. So you want to set your membership plan up, copy what is being done outside of dentistry. And it's not a bundle of services unless you are Groupon, which Groupon's a different model, and it's not great for most dental practices.
Yep.
So set up a membership plan, not a discount.
And you're avoiding that gap, which I think makes so much sense. One of the reasons that I think dental administrators prefer kind of that annual fee that then gets renewed is it takes the administrative burden off of us of like these monthly payments that we're processing. So I think that's really speaks to why outsourcing this to another group that can handle those details matters. So, walk me through how you make that easy on us.
Yeah, so we have a lot of free education on our website. We've got one, Seven Deadly Sins That Kill Membership Plans. You can go watch those. You don't even need to put your email address in. And we're very open. If I was talking to you, you're an office manager, I would draw a line, Caitlin. And on one side of the line, I would put a discount plan, 2 cleans, 2 exams, set of x-rays for $400. And I would say, Caitlin, if you are not going to use a third party administrator and you're going to do it yourself and stay on that side of the line. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself into a really terrible admin situation.
Right.
I can tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't do that. You're not taking care of patients as good. You're not making as much money. You're making patients buy something sporadically instead of helping them access care. It's not great still from an admin side versus some other things, but it's better than nothing, right? I mean, it still do something. Then, if you come to the other side of the line, we can create a killer membership program where patients can get access to care at intervals. Practice can make more money. Patients can have access to care and get better deals than they're getting with the discount style plans. And we're going to help on the administration side and integrate with your practice management software and make it more seamless. But those things are hard to do yourself. So, what I like to do is think about, okay, let's think of our biggest competitor in the membership space, which is dental insurance. So, what does dental insurance do for you? And I don't want to hear everything they don't do for you. Why are you in network? Well, what they do for you is they bring patients to you. They charge the premiums. If a patient stops paying Delta Dental, do you have to do anything? You don't do anything. There's nothing to do with that. You have Delta Dental, they deal with it, right? Or an insurance company. So they collect the premiums. They keep track of usage of benefits and benefit eligibility. And then in theory, they pay a claim when services are used and give you an EFT with a EOB, and you put that payment in so that everything kind of matches up. And so your membership software administrator should be helping you with the setting up a good plan where patients can access it. They should be helping you market that plan. They should be helping you price and set up the best pricing schedules for you. They should be handling those monthly payments, keeping track of benefit usage, benefit eligibility, and then making sure you can manage the production collection and match all that up and integrate with your back end and stuff. So that's essentially what we do is we help with everything from beginning to end. We're very hands-on. I like shared practices because we're not coaches, but in membership plan spaces we are. So everybody listening has probably had to bought a software and then they have to figure out how to use it, and that's no fun. And so you've got to have somebody helping you set everything up properly. So we're going to set everything up. We're going to set the practice management software up, which is key. We're going to set the right numbers in there. We're going to train your team. We're going to integrate and just make it all turnkey. So I'm usually like, look, be on one end of the spectrum. Either embrace the membership plan, do it right, make the most money, take care of the most patients, and have the best, most accurate numbers, or do it yourself with the discount plan, but realize you're going to have adjustments, you're going to have write-offs, you're going to have gaps in money coming in, you're not going to take care of as many patients, they're still going to be at risk of leaving without embracing the other side of it.
Right. And I know there's a lot to this and it's kind of hard to condense it for the podcast, but if I'm an OM or an owner listening and I want to know, like, what does it look like on the other side? Let's say we've decided we want to outsource this to you and we don't want to have to deal with this internally as much. Once everything's established and we've done the initial trainings and the onboarding with you, and I have a patient in front of me that is interested in the membership, what are the steps now? I know there's something that goes on the website. Kind of talk me through how that looks different once dental menu is involved.
Yeah, sure. So we'll create a brochure for you. It'll have a QR code on the back so patients can just scan that with their phone. We recommend having an iPad. You can have an iPad and they can just sign up right there. We can create a physical sign up form. A lot of older patients, they don't want to use all the tech. Like, just let them fill it out. That's totally fine. We'll have signs in the office and TV graphics and things like that. And then we do have this online sign up. So you'll be assigned a customer success coach, which is nice. So in the beginning, if you need to role play or you got questions or not sure how to do it, or maybe you're an OM and there's a new person you hired and they don't have a lot of dental experience, or maybe they do, but they don't know how to present membership plans, we're always doing retrains and things like that. But if you're an OM, you're going to present that. we're going to have made sure that it's a better deal than them paying for it cash. And so you're going to present that to the patient, and then they're going to either enter the information or you will. It'll go into the system. It's all PCI compliant. It's going to set up all the automated billing. It's going to have the terms and conditions. It's going to send them a receipt, and it'll just automate all those payments. It'll also put them on the practice management software with the fee schedules. So when you come in, a patient comes in, it's like, oh, Caitlin's coming in today. You're going to look them up in Open Dental, Dentrix. You're going to see that, oh, they have this membership plan. You're going to see them. You're going to walk them out. They're going to pay for treatment, fillings, crowns, root canals. And then their included benefits, exam, cleaning, x-rays, those are going to show as covered at 100%. And then whoever walks the patient out, hygienist, office manager, doesn't matter. You'll pre-appoint the patient out, you'll walk them out. We grab all the information, whatever was recorded in Dentrix, Open Dental, we grab all that, update dental menu, reset their benefit eligibility. And then we actually do some stuff on the back end where we basically help the doctor transfer revenue from one account to the next, but we don't want you writing these benefits off to zero. That's a big issue.
Yes.
And so we'll show exam, cleaning, x-rays, we'll show those outstanding values, but you'll actually record a payment just like you do from insurance, but it's from yourself, so that your daily collection matches daily production, matches a daily bank statement. If you're an office manager and you roll up with a group, we've seen them get accused of fraud. There's no proper paper trail.
Right.
And we've seen them actually engage in fraud. They put their brother on. So if you're an office manager, you're going to protect yourself. You're going to have a good standard operating procedure, and you're just going to be running it like you are any other insurance, but you collect the amount. I mean, we help you collect it, but you collect it, you get the breakage, you set everything up. If you're a dentist, you're a doctor, one of the things I'd recommend, if you're an office manager, get me in front of your doctor, I'll tell them to do this. But one thing we found that really moves the dial, Caitlin, for office managers, you're an office manager, you're sitting there. Doing nothing is easier than doing anything. Doing your own self-administered plan, using us as a third party, both those are more work for you as an office administrator than doing nothing and just saying, it's $300 today, pay today, and then they leave. Who cares if they come back? Who cares if they accept treatment? That's the easiest for you administratively until maybe you get fired because there's not enough profitability in the practice. But one thing we found that works really well is it takes some extra time to present these plans to patients. And so we build in incentives. The doctor, of course, has to sign off on it. But if you build an incentive for your team, say your office manager, and it's like, Caitlin, every time you sign up a membership plan patient, you're going to get $25. All of a sudden you're like, really? That's amazing. And so if I could present this to 3 patients, get 3 a week, I mean, it's $300 a month. We build that into the cost of what the patient's paying. The patient's going to cover all those fees. We'll manage that for the doctor. But if you're a doctor listening right now, imagine having 200 patients paying you $35 a month. That's $7,000 a month recurring revenue. You're going to capture breakage, meaning patients don't come in right on time. So you're going to get extra revenue. You're going to get increased treatment. On average, cash pay patients versus membership patients spend on average 2.2 more a year than cash pay patients. So a lot of doctors are like, well, I'm going to be getting my full fee. It's like, yeah, you're getting your full fee on less, like you're losing it. And so if you have 200 patients, we just did a case study on a practice. I'm going to look at the numbers so I don't botch it here. They've got 200 patients on their membership plan. In the last year, they added $459,337 of collections on their membership plan patients, counting what they're paying for their monthly membership plan and then all the extra treatment. So it's their average patient is spending $2,297. Their average membership patient spent $2,297 per patient last year. Just crazy.
That's a good success story. Yeah.
It's good. I mean, I got a lot of them right here and we can share that, but you're going to add this recurring revenue. If you think about it this way, if someone's paying Delta Dental and they don't use their benefits, who benefits from it? Who makes the money? Insurance company, right? So patients, when they come in late and stuff, you're just spinning off all this extra revenue when you're doing that. And so when you share that, motivate your team, then that's what's awesome for an office manager. She's like, oh, awesome. I've got one that goes on a cruise every year with the signups that she does. And she saves up her little bonuses and she goes on a cruise. But they have over 500 membership
Yeah,
patients because
everybody wins.
$20,000 a month coming in. So,
Right, right.
cool.
Yeah. And so you mentioned compliance earlier, and I think all of us want to make sure we're doing everything properly. I think outsourcing this in this way helps relieve basically all of the burden. So I really appreciate the different options you offer, and you can kind of stage your own membership plan. You guys will kind of help with what you recommend, but you can customize, you can decide what's included and what discounts you give. Are there certain states I've kind of heard of? I think states do this a little bit differently where maybe it's actually more required or highly recommended to use a company like yours. Do you know off the top of your head which states can be the most challenging and really should be using dental menu?
Yeah. Is this a political podcast or is it a
No.
reason?
We just have
Which
listeners in every single state. So I
that's
think
good.
this matters a lot in the areas where the compliance rules are more.
Definitely does. So, two things. First, before I answer the compliance, when you have your own membership plan, there's a couple ways you can do it. One is some of our competitors, you basically are going in network with them and you're handing all your cash pay patients to them almost like quasi insurance. And so that's sometimes a hesitancy. With ours, the example I like to use is you can run your practice with paper charts, which was, there's a few practices out there still using paper charts. Most are using a practice management software. Why are you using a practice management software? How much does practice management software cost per year? Why is that worth it? And so you can run your own membership plan yourself, or you can use our software to help you run and administer your plan. But with what we do, everything is branded for your practice and all of the nuances and stuff. So you mentioned like if I'm dealing with a out of network office that's at capacity for cleanings and they're not trying to grow, their membership plan looks a whole lot different than a scratch start who's trying to see every patient they can and they're in network with every insurance and they're marketing, and those plans are going to look vastly different. And California versus Idaho versus Florida versus Ohio, pricing and stuff's going to look vastly different. So our plans are very tailored. They're your plans. We're just helping you set them up, helping you run them. So on the compliance side, yes, there is some states. Washington State is not a great state. There's a couple of states that aren't great. We'll do a analysis. Most states, just the last like 5-6 years, Caitlin, Arizona's a good example. Arizona came out with new direct primary care legislation about 4 years ago. It used to be not illegal, but very gray, just kind of like, well, their direct primary care legislation that they passed 4 or 5 years ago, it's very, very clear of exactly what you need to do and what you need to put into your agreement. And so we look at each state and then we help you with some of that verbiage and those terms and conditions and make sure you're going to be okay on that side, which for an office manager, yeah, that's super
That's
nice. You're just
huge.
like, yeah, really, really big. So most states now, you're able to do stuff. There's just sometimes a few little nuances that you've got to do,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
change.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll look at all that stuff for you.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
just like you were saying, it's still your plan. Like we always get asked, well, what happens when a patient comes in and this and this and this happens? It's like, well, here's what we recommend and here's how the software works. But if for some reason that's like it's got to work for your practice, we're going to set up some, rules, but sometimes with the doctor and the team, we have to say, what do you guys want to do in this situation? It's not necessarily dictated like insurance is, where it's like, here's this or here's that. Like a good example, we set it up to where a patient gets access to a cleaning every 6 months or access to perio maintenance every 3 months. Well, what happens if a patient's trying to come in? We're trying to get them in 3 days early and stuff. And it's like, that's fine. See them. Like, it's not insurance. You're not going to be like, well, sorry, you got to wait 3 more days.
Right.
You're trying to schedule. That's totally fine. Like Arizona, you got a lot of snowbirds. You might have to jostle things around. So you're going to be able to set things up the way you need to.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, you were speaking earlier about making sure that we're not just writing off services. And this is a common question I get because we record so much data, we analyze so much data with our coaching clients. We're very metrics based. And so as a result, it's not good, even just for that reason alone, to have anyone with $0 exams, $0 pro fees, let alone when you're actually tracking that with your providers. And maybe paying your providers based on that in some cases. So talk us through that, and then your solution for it, I think, is really cool with the separate bank account and everything too. So I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, so that's usually, if I'm meeting with the doctor, we're talking about, hey, retention, we're going to make more money, we're going to get treatment acceptance, we're going to set up a lot better menu of services so that your patients can access care, we're going to build your practice, all this great stuff. That's all great for the doctor and stuff. Then you trickle down to the office manager and it's like, what? How am I supposed to do all this kind of stuff? And it's like, I don't know, you're smart, Caitlin, figure it out. And so we've got an accounting module on our website. But what happens, and anyone listening, see if this resonates. If you're a doctor listening, you go talk to your front office because she'll probably be like, yeah, this is what's going on. When revenue comes in, normally what happens is patient cash pay comes in, they get an exam, cleaning, x-ray, treatment, whatever. You have an outstanding balance, you had treatment, and then the patient pays, and that payment goes against the production. Like, end of story. It's really easy. When you have a membership plan payment, let's say $400 a year, the $400 comes in. If it goes on the patient ledger as a payment, what do? You don't want to leave a credit on there. Some of them leave credits on there. Do never leave a credit on the patient's account. You can't give them a refund. You can't use it for treatment. Some people leave credits on, then sometimes it gets misapplied. Don't put a credit on there. Some people put a receivable. They'll have a receivable of $400, and then every time a monthly payment's made, it goes against the receivable, so it whittles it down from 400 all the way down to zero. It's not a receivable either. It's access to care at intervals. So normally what happens is the $400 comes in. This is not how I'd recommend doing it, but this is how everybody does it. $400 comes in. Now there's a $400 credit on the account. So then they make a fake procedure code called membership plan procedure code. They apply that against the $400 so the ledger stays at zero. Now, patient comes in, they get the exam, the cleaning, the x-rays. Those are free for the patient. So that either those are set up as zeros in the practice management software on the production side, which is terrible because now you got zero production. If you're smart enough and you don't have those as zero, you're going to have the production numbers there, $125 for the cleaning, $70 for the exam, $100 for the x-rays, wherever they are. Well, now there's a balance of production on the patient ledger. So what are you going to do? Normally you'd collect from the patient, but they're not going to pay you because those are free. So now you have to have an adjustment code, and you adjust your cleaning, exam, x-rays off to zero as bad debt so that you basically write it off so that it comes back down to zero. So now you have production, collection not matching. You mentioned provider pay. If you're paying your hygienist or your team on collection bonuses, your associate, they're getting a big fat zero when they see a membership plan patient. I've had numerous associates say, I hate the freaking membership plan because my doctor makes all the money and I don't. I've had a lot of hygienists that are high producing hygienists that say if they're in the chair and they don't have insurance, I don't push them to our membership plan. I push them to our higher paid insurance plans because that gives them the care they need. Plus, it pays it 100% plus I hit my bonuses. If I see 5 membership patients today, like I only got credit on 3 out of the 8. It's not good. And then it affects your practice valuation. So imagine you have 200 membership patients. If I'm buying your practice, Caitlin, and you've already spent all the money, all that $400, I've got to do free cleanings on patients for a period of time until it catches up and the revenue starts back up. So that's a liability that I'm accepting. Your membership plan patients are a liability for new ownership. It will decrease your practice valuation when really subscription-based businesses, your membership patients should be worth more than any of your insurance.
Right. That's a good point.
So don't mess up your valuation. And at a high level, a lot of doctors don't even realize this, but it looks like you have a collection problem because you have 400 adjustments on cleanings, exams, 200 x-rays. Like, oh, these guys suck at collecting, so the valuation is going to be a little lower. So your membership plan might cost you $100,000 in your valuation. It's terrible. So what we do is we set up a separate kind of account for the doctor. The doctor owns it. It's just for accounting. So the revenue goes into that account. And so it doesn't, those $35 payments or whatever your monthly amount is, the front office manager doesn't have to put those on the ledger. She's never going to get 100 $35 payments every month that she's got to put on patient ledgers, which that sucks. You don't want to have to do that. That revenue just goes into a separate bank account. And then when you walk the patient out, you do the exam, cleaning, x-rays. We're going to see that with our integration. Patient's going to leave. They don't know anything, but there will be an outstanding balance or a claim, just like there is with any other insurance. And then we see that and we basically automatically move money from the doctor's membership account to the doctor's operating account. So just automatically there'll be an EFT deposit into the operating bank account. So instead of getting an EFT from Delta or Aetna, you get an EFT from yourself, but it just happens all automatically. And then you are able to enter that collection in. We'll give you an ELB and it'll tell you, here's what you need to enter in for the cleaning, exam, x-rays. That'll get entered in. So your production match, your production collection matches your daily bank statement deposits. So then all your KPIs work. So when shared practices, you guys come in as coaches, you're just pulling your KPIs like you would with any other insurance. You're not having to do any kind of workarounds. Your provider pay works, your collection production works. There's no fraud. There's no accusation of fraud. There's no practice valuation stuff. It's just business as usual. It's really clean that way.
Yeah, that's a really attractive model and very innovative. And I think it speaks to a lot of us because what you just described, a lot of us know that is not the right way to do it and there's a problem, but it's really hard to do the workaround, without having that
Really
that
hard.
separate bank account that's kind of serving as EOBs coming through it. It really makes a lot of sense. So I really like that idea a lot. And I think it adds a lot of value to this. So
That's pretty sick. I mean, if you're an office manager, you've been running a plan, usually it's like that's the aha moment of the meeting and
yeah, it was
mic
for
drop.
me. It was for
Yeah.
me when I met with you. Yeah, absolutely.
And we're the only group that does that, Caitlin. Like nobody else is going to help you with the finance that way.
Yeah, that's really cool. As we kind of near the end of the episode here, is there anything that you wanted to share with our audience just about, maybe common misconceptions or common questions that you get a lot and how you guys help your clients overcome them?
Yeah, I mean, some of the common questions are like, well, hey, why would I want to do this with my cash pay patients? Almost, I don't want to kill the golden goose per se.
Right. I get
It's
that a lot too.
yeah, and if you are an out of network office and stuff, like sometimes we look at the numbers and like you say, like, okay, maybe you are right. But most of the time, if you look at yourself in the mirror, your poop stinks, just like everybody else's. And your numbers aren't as good as you think. And you're not retaining everyone that you think. And so your best patients, your cash pay patients, are getting the worst deal. And then you're complaining about insurance running the whole dental side of
Right. That
things.
makes sense.
And so stop complaining. Look at it this way. This is what I'll end with this. You are going to insurance companies asking them to pay you more. That's your strategy. If they pay you more, what does that mean for them? It means they have to either accept less margin or they have to go to their customers and they have to ask their customers to pay them more so that then they can pay you more. That's never going to happen from a large scale. I mean, you can negotiate your fees and stuff. So stop complaining all of the time about insurance and trying to increase your insurance. And granted, I work with companies that do a great job. You can increase your fees. I'm not saying not to do that. But just from a core of fixing dentistry, if your core model is pay me more because I should be paid more because I should make more, so you should pay me more, that's not going to change your practice long term. You're going to be stuck in the insurance quagmire. What you've got to do is start getting the right kinds of patients into your practice long term so that you can whittle down that insurance dependence. And you do that by having your own strong menu of services that you're offering cash pay patients so you can be less and less dependent on insurance. That's how you're going to change your practice long term. So please stop complaining about insurance. I'm not anti insurance at all. I'm pro making money. There's a lot of insurances that might pay really well and retain your patients. So I'm not anti insurance. I'm pro making money, but I'm also logical of, again, stop just bashing the insurance companies and tell them to pay you more. They've taken your product, they've packaged your product, and they've sold it to businesses and consumers. That's what they do. And so when you want to just keep saying, hey, pay me more, you would hate the patients that come in and say, well, you know what? I just don't think you should charge $1,500 for a crown. I'll give you 1,000. I'll give you 1,000. And I think it's unethical, Dr. Smith, to charge me that much because you're a rich dentist. But that's kind of what you're telling the insurance companies. And so you create a really crappy do it yourself plan that doesn't compete very well with insurance and doesn't solve those problems. And then you complain and complain and complain every chance you get about the insurance. Stop complaining, do something about it. Let's create a better product that's going to compete with insurance, attract, retain, convert those patients as long-term patients. I mean, if you were doing 500,000 a year in membership plan patients, it's a third of your business, third of your practice, and then you can bump it up to 50% of your practice. That's how you're going to compete. So that would be my takeaway.
Yeah, and we all can relate to wanting to take this back from insurance and wanting to be in the driver's seat of our own dental practices. And so anything that gives us the opportunity to take control back is
Yeah,
worth listening to and worth exploring. So I really like that concept
absolutely.
as well. And I appreciate you coming on and talking to us about all these nuances. I know for the most part, unless you study this day in and day out, we're all a little bit confused about how this should work and what the benefits are. So I appreciate
Yeah.
you breaking it down. And so, where can we find you and learn more if we want to see if this is a fit for our practice?
Yeah. So go to dentalmenu.com. Like I say, we've got a bunch of free modules under our resource section. Go ahead and watch some of those. You can reach out to me directly, paul@dentalmenu.com. Obviously, on our website, you can schedule a demo. But if you've got a specific question you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to chat with you. We're real open with our information. Happy to meet with you. Happy to share what we've learned. Happy to walk through some modules. And then at the end, if you still want to do it yourself, you've learned a lot of stuff. But if we can help you, we'd love to help you. We want to see everybody succeed on some level with these membership plans.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Paul. And we'll see you all next time on the Shared Practices podcast.
Okay, thanks, Caitlin. By the way, too, you can talk to your shared practice coach
That's
about.
true. Yes. Reach out to us. If you don't have one, email me, Caitlin@sharedpractices.com. We'll get you in touch.
Hey, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.